It's Wednesday, the 11th of March, 2026. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and you're watching Weather Europe. Thanks for joining us today. Since this channel focuses on weather updates across Europe, I always like hearing from viewers across the continent. So let me know in the comments section where you're watching from. I'll be checking those comments throughout the day. Also tell me what the weather is like in your area right now, whether you're seeing sunshine, rain, or even snow. Now, we are starting to notice a bit of a pattern change developing across parts of Europe. It's not quite as dramatic as the major shift we saw a few weeks ago, but it is enough to bring some noticeable changes over the next several days. In general, we're expecting weather conditions to become a little more active, especially across the western sections of Europe. Meanwhile, much of the eastern part of the continent will remain somewhat quieter in comparison. Let's take a look ahead at what's developing, because over the next few days, we'll be tracking several systems that will bring larger areas of rain and also some expanding areas of snow. These systems are moving along the main storm track that continues to favor Western Europe. Right now, if you look at the broader weather pattern, you can see a lot of activity developing over the North Atlantic, particularly near Iceland, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. Storm systems in that region are moving eastward and then curving slightly as they approach the European mainland. As they move inland, they begin to pivot toward France, Spain, and Portugal, and then eventually extend toward the Alps region. Part of that same storm energy will also continue northward, pushing toward Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Because of that, we'll be watching for a mix of rain and snow across those northern areas. At the same time, we're also keeping an eye on countries like Denmark, the Netherlands, and Belgium, where periods of rain could move through as these systems continue eastward. Overall, the most active weather pattern will remain concentrated across the western side of Europe, but some pieces of energy from these systems could stretch farther east toward parts of Turkey, bringing occasional rain there as well. Now, let's talk about the 7-day precipitation outlook across Europe. This outlook includes both rainfall and snowfall. On the map, the brown shading represents areas where precipitation is expected to be below average, while the green and blue colors represent areas where precipitation is expected to be above average. You can see that above-average precipitation will likely extend from parts of Spain northward toward Norway and Sweden, and also across Ireland and the United Kingdom. Some of that precipitation will fall as rain, while in colder regions and higher elevations, it will fall as snow. Even parts of Italy may see above-average precipitation during this period. However, when we move toward the Balkans region, including countries such as Serbia and nearby areas, conditions will likely remain relatively dry. That drier pattern may not only continue through the next 7 days, but could also extend beyond that time frame as the overall weather pattern settles in. Let's also take a quick look at temperatures across the region. Some areas of the Iberian Peninsula, including parts of Spain and Portugal, could see temperatures running a little below average for this time of year. However, for most of Europe, temperatures will actually trend slightly above average. In contrast, areas farther north, especially near Scotland, could experience slightly cooler conditions. That cooler air will combine with incoming moisture, which means we could see some additional rain and snow developing in those areas. Now let's track these weather systems step by step to get a clearer picture. If we zoom out to the big picture view, we can see several small rotating systems, often referred to as spins in the atmosphere, moving across parts of Europe. Later today, we'll see rain beginning to develop across Germany and France. Meanwhile, a larger area of energy near Iceland will begin to pivot northward. As it does so, it will bring additional rain and snow to Norway, and also push weather systems toward the United Kingdom and Ireland. As we move forward into Thursday and Friday, another wave of rain will likely develop stretching from Sweden down through southern Germany and across France. That same system will bring rain into the Netherlands, Belgium, and Denmark. Behind that system, colder air will move in, which means some areas could experience snowfall, particularly in locations with higher elevation or colder temperatures. Then as we move towards Saturday, we'll be watching yet another weather system developing along that same storm track. This system will follow a similar path, bringing additional rain and snow to many of the same regions. Even though most of the activity will remain focused over Western Europe, some of the energy from these storms could drift toward Turkey, bringing additional rainfall there. At the same time, colder air interacting with these weather systems may bring additional snowfall to the Alps, particularly in higher mountain areas. Now let's take a closer look at snowfall potential over the next 7 days. In northern sections of the United Kingdom, snowfall totals could reach around 10 centimeters, with some isolated areas possibly receiving closer to 20 centimeters. Across Norway, Sweden, and Finland, particularly in northern regions, snowfall could also reach around 20 centimeters. In some interior areas where multiple systems pass through, snowfall totals could become even higher. In fact, certain parts of Norway could see snowfall totals reaching 60 to 70 centimeters over the next week due to repeated waves of precipitation moving through. Meanwhile, across the Alps, additional snowfall is expected as well. Some higher elevation areas could see totals around 20 to 22 centimeters. These amounts are not extreme for mountainous regions during this time of year, but they are still enough to create travel concerns, especially in higher terrain. Now let's take a look at rainfall totals across the region. Parts of Ireland could see between 50 and 75 millimeters of rain over the next several days. Similar rainfall totals may also occur in Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium, and northern France. In Spain, rainfall will likely focus more on northern regions, while Portugal may stay relatively dry for the most part. Across Italy, scattered rainfall totals between 25 and 75 millimeters are possible, particularly across central and southern areas. Meanwhile, much of the Balkans region, including Albania and Greece, will likely remain mostly dry, with only isolated showers possible. As we head into the weekend, we'll also keep an eye on Cyprus and southern Turkey, where a small system could bring occasional rainfall. So overall, the main takeaway from this forecast is that Western Europe will become noticeably more active, with several rounds of rain and snow moving through the region. Snow will become somewhat more widespread in certain areas compared to last week, particularly across Scandinavia and the Alps. Because of this, there could be some travel disruptions heading into the weekend, especially in regions where snow accumulates or where heavy rainfall occurs. We'll continue monitoring these developments closely here on Weather Europe, and we'll keep providing updates as the forecast evolves. Once again, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what the weather looks like in your area. I always enjoy hearing from viewers across Europe. Thanks for watching Weather Europe, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.